Depression is one of those topics that so many people have heard about, but very few truly understand until they've gone through it or seen someone they care about struggle with it. It isn't just about feeling sad or having a bad day. It's a serious mental health condition that can affect nearly every part of someone's life, from their mood and energy to the way they think, behave, and even interact with others. Today, let's talk about 5 common symptoms of depression. By becoming more aware of these signs, we can recognize them in ourselves or others and know when it might be time to reach out for help or support. Remember, this video is for awareness and not a substitute for professional advice, but understanding these symptoms could make a huge difference for someone who needs it. The first symptom to pay attention to is persistent sadness or emptiness. Everyone feels sad from time to time, but with depression, this sadness lingers. It doesn't go away after a few days or even after doing things that would normally cheer someone up. A person may describe it as feeling heavy, hopeless, or emotionally numb. Sometimes it isn't even sadness in the traditional sense. It can feel more like a void, a sense of emptiness where emotions used to be. Imagine waking up and feeling like there's a gray cloud hanging over you day after day, without much relief. That's what persistent sadness in depression often feels like. It's not about being overly dramatic or negative, it's the brain and body reacting in a way that makes joy and lightness very hard to experience. Another very common symptom of depression is a loss of interest or pleasure in things that once brought joy. Maybe someone used to love painting, going for walks, or hanging out with friends, but suddenly those activities feel like a burden. This symptom is called anhedonia, and it's one of the most noticeable changes that depression brings. It's not just about being bored or out of the mood, it's like the spark is gone. A person might force themselves to do things they used to love, but they don't feel any of the enjoyment they once did. Over time, this can make them withdraw from hobbies, social events, or even simple daily pleasures like watching a favorite show or eating a meal they used to love. If someone you know is pulling away from things they used to enjoy, it may not be because they don't care anymore, it could be depression taking away that sense of pleasure. The third symptom to watch out for is changes in sleep patterns. Depression can completely disrupt a person's relationship with sleep. Some people struggle with insomnia, finding it hard to fall asleep or waking up multiple times throughout the night. Others might experience hypersomnia, which means they sleep much longer than usual but still feel exhausted. Imagine lying in bed for hours, staring at the ceiling, feeling tired but unable to fall asleep because your mind is racing with negative thoughts. Or imagine sleeping 10 to 12 hours and still waking up without energy. These patterns can make depression even worse, because sleep is so crucial for mental and physical health. Without proper rest, it becomes harder to focus, harder to regulate emotions, and harder to cope with everyday stress. When someone's sleep changes drastically, whether it's too much or too little, it can be a red flag that something deeper is going on. The fourth symptom is fatigue and lack of energy. Depression is often described as feeling like you're carrying a heavy weight everywhere you go. Even small tasks, like taking a shower, cooking a meal, or answering a text message, can feel overwhelming. People with depression may look lazy from the outside, but in reality, they're often fighting an invisible battle just to get through the day. This exhaustion isn't the same as being tired from staying up late or working hard. It's a deep kind of fatigue that doesn't go away with rest. The body feels heavy, concentration becomes difficult, and even the simplest responsibilities feel like climbing a mountain. Sometimes people describe it as moving through quicksand. Every step feels harder than it should be. This lack of energy can also feed into other symptoms, like withdrawing socially or falling behind at school or work, which can create guilt and make depression even worse. The fifth symptom that often appears with depression is changes in appetite or weight. For some people, depression leads to a loss of appetite. They may forget to eat, have no interest in food, or feel like eating is too much effort. This can cause noticeable weight loss over time. On the other hand, some people experience the opposite. They turn to food for comfort, eating much more than usual, especially foods high in sugar or carbs, which can result in weight gain. These changes in appetite aren't just about dieting or lack of willpower. They're tied to the brain's chemistry and the way depression affects motivation and reward systems. If someone's eating habits suddenly shift dramatically without another clear reason, depression might be part of the explanation. So to recap, the 5 symptoms we've talked about are persistent sadness or emptiness, loss of interest in activities, disrupted sleep patterns, fatigue and lack of energy, and noticeable changes in appetite or weight. It's important to remember that depression can look different for everyone. Some people might experience all of these symptoms, while others may only struggle with a couple of them. What matters is the impact these symptoms have on daily life. If they're lasting for weeks or months and making it hard to function, that's when it's time to take them seriously. If you see these signs in yourself, please know that you're not alone. Millions of people experience depression every year, and it's not a sign of weakness. It's a health condition that deserves care and treatment, just like any physical illness. Reaching out to a doctor, therapist, or counselor can make a huge difference. Even talking to a trusted friend or family member is a step toward healing. Treatments like therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, or a combination of all 3 can help people manage symptoms and feel better over time. And if you notice these signs in someone you care about, try to be supportive and compassionate. Sometimes just listening and letting them know you care can be incredibly powerful. Depression can feel isolating, but awareness is one of the first steps in breaking that isolation. By recognizing these symptoms and understanding them better, we can all play a role in reducing stigma and encouraging people to seek the help they need. If you or someone you know is struggling, I encourage you to take it seriously. Life with depression can feel dark, but with support, treatment, and time, there is hope and healing.